Hey guys, Breadgut Gaming here. Hope you're having a good day. Today, I'm going to try to become the Pope to get filthy rich. I'm starting in 1066, and we're going to take over this Duchy of Zab here with a custom character. I'm going to have the Messianism Christian faith, so this will help me take over the papacy. I'm going to be Roman because that's cool. I'm going to be 18 since I need one starting perk. I'm going to have the Exalted Warlord education since I'm going to be conquering a lot. I'm getting eccentric for the 20% lifestyle experience. I'm going to have Reaver for a better rating. I'm going to have Syed for initial legitimacy and because I'm the prophet. I'm going to have Pure-Blooded because it's a 2x virtue and it's great for genetics programs. I'm going to have Strong for extra starting health. I'm going to have Profligate for a little bit of prestige income. And thanks to a viewer, we also found that you get more men-at-arms at start. I'm going to have the Adventurer trait to have reduced men-at-arms maintenance since I'm going to be relying on them a lot. And I have Disloyal and Reclusive for minus points so that I can afford all these things. I do have one extra point in Martial, and the full point breakdown is here. So once I'm ready with my character creation, we're going to be playing the default game rules with Iron Man enabled. Before we start anything, there's some initial setup I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is increase the tribal authority to limited. I eventually do want to become feudal, and there's a 10-year cooldown between each level of authority. So to minimize the time, I'm going to increase it right now. Then I'm going to go into my military. I'm going to invite some champions since they're pretty strong in the early game. Of the champions that I do have, I'll check my accolades. If someone can be a tactician, that'll be nice, but it's not necessary. Tactician just gives me extra martial experience, so it'll just make me level up faster. Because I'm in a hostile religious area, I'm going to try to convert all of my knights except for my vassal. I'm going to leave them for later, and these knights over here as well. For this run through, I'm going to mainly use armored footmen. If I have a regiment, I'll increase their size by 1. If I don't, I'll just create another regiment. I'm going to station the largest men-at-arms, so it'll be this bowman here and it'll be this armored footman here. Then I'll pick my lifestyle. I'm going to go into the martial lifestyle and chivalry for the 5 advantage since I'm going to be a commander mostly. Because I'm going to be a commander, that's why I became 18 so I could get one perk. That way I can get the Stalwart Leader perk. This will reduce the risk of commanding an army, so it will prevent an early death from commanding. My plan next is to go down for Chivalric Dominance and Never Back Down. These are also good early game perks to do for strength. Then I'll go for Engineer for Destruction for the siege weapon to make my wars go faster, and also Organized March for my army speed for better rating that we'll see later. The last thing to do is to pick a spouse. So for this spouse, I'm actually going to try to go for a grand wedding. I'm going to need 490 gold in order to do a grand wedding. This is so I can get some renown in the early game. So since I don't have enough gold right now, I'm actually going to look for a child, and I'm going to look for someone who is not lowborn since I need my legitimacy. I'm going to sort by my martial, and I'm looking for someone 10 to 12 years of age. If someone has an inheritable trait like this girl here, then that's ideal. So this girl's actually pretty good, and I'll pick her. Now my plan to take over the papacy is to first build up my military. I'm going to need about 3,000 armored footmen to comfortably take over the papacy and also defend against most wars. I'm also going to aim for the Empire of Italia since this is required to take this mend the schism decision. So to build up my strength, that's why I picked the Duchy of Zab. So Zab here is one of the few realms that is still tribal in this area. And being tribal means that I can use prestige to quickly build up men-at-arms, and raiding is a very quick way to get up prestige. So tribal realms can really beef up their power very quickly. But before I do any raiding, I'm actually going to go over here to Pisa, and I'm going to take over his title here. I'm going to declare war. Let's raise our army. It looks like my vassal's a pretty good commander. He's actually better than me for war, so I'll let him take the reins for that. Then I'm going to bring my army over here. Alright, and I quickly captured him, so I could also ransom him for some gold. So that's some easy gold right here, and I'll just besiege and capture his territory. Alright, I've now captured his territory. I also gain legitimacy because I'm a duke and he is a king, so that means that I gain more legitimacy. Now I'm going to start raiding my neighbors over here. So let me take a look at my neighbors. This guy's weaker than us for sure. This guy's similar to us, this guy's similar or a little weaker, and this guy's also similar. So I'm going to go to the west, up and around. Let's raise all raiders. Now, although this guy has slightly better commander advantage, I am a Reaver, so that means my raiding speed's a little faster, so I'm going to pick him. So this one, no fights. If we go to this land here, we'll probably get into a fight with this guy and hopefully he'll come out. So because of Reaver, I'm going to take very little attrition. And then once I'm here and I've raided this successfully. You can see the enemy army's coming. If I have a better commander, I can change it to him. And now we're just going to wait for him to fight us, which he thinks it's pretty even, but unfortunately we have better advantage and we also have more men-at-arms than he does, so we're going to easily defeat him. And that way we gain a decent amount of prestige and piety. And so I'm actually going to try to chase him. I'm going to change it to myself to take reduced attrition. So he's actually going too far south, so I'll just raid his capital and then maybe he'll come back up for us. So he's stuck over here, so I'm going to go chase him. Looks like he's coming for us too. We're going to try to wait right here. All right, and we got him there. And now we're going to chase him back over here as well. So he's up here. We'll chase him here. So I can also change into this vassal to make it a little bit more in my favor. All right, and we can change back to myself. And then we're going to chase him down over here as well. Before I finish, I could go for chivalric dominance. So that's going to give us some knight effectiveness, which is really good in the early game. All right, and we defeated his army completely. So for this one, we probably gained the most because we killed all of his men. The more men you kill, the more prestige and piety you gain. So almost 1,000 men gives almost 270, versus if we kill less men, then we get less prestige and piety. For this guy, we're pretty close. I'm actually going to come home first. I have a good amount of prestige. So once I'm home, I'm going to check if I have any prisoners. So I do. So you want to ransom them as soon as you do get them. Otherwise, if they're in your prison for too long, then they can come out as your rivals and you don't want that. So let's ransom those guys. We're going to try to max out our armored footmen here, which we can. And then we'll let them replenish a little bit and then start raiding these neighbors here. So now we're going to raise our army again. We're going to pick ourselves. We could probably fight this guy easily. Another tip is I'm going to go here into this city instead of this castle. So now this army is going to come fight us, but because we are here, you'll see that we have 22 plus 12 advantage, versus if we were here, then we would actually lose advantage, because when the enemy is fighting in their castle or controlled territory, they get the defensive advantage. But you can see here, we actually get this plus because it says we are actually defending here, so we get the terrain bonus. Right, and we smash his army like that pretty easily. We also gained a decent amount of prestige. I can now go and chase his army over here. From that, we got maybe like 500, 600 prestige. We're going to raid the rest of his holdings here for some gold. We're going to go home. Oh, he came out. He wants to fight again. I'll gladly fight you. That's just basically free prestige and piety, so thank you. And now we're going to use this prestige and we're going to make a second armored footman stack. And we're going to increase the size as much as we can. I'm going to station these guys in Pisa. I'm going to wait for these guys to replenish. So when I have about 1,500 armored footmen, I should be able to take on the Pope. He is actually trying to gain some opinion with me. I wouldn't get the prestige and risk reduced opinion if his AI was more dishonorable and willing to murder people. But because he's probably not going to be very likely to murder people, I'm going to just take this free prestige. When you do get about 1,500 armored footmen, then we can actually start farming the Pope and use him as a stepping stone to take over his job. So let me get to a rally point in Pisa. Let me raise my raiders. I'm going to appoint myself actually. All right, so we have 3,000 men and he has about 4,000. So he should be willing to fight us. So we just wait for him to come. And then because of our big advantage difference and because most of our guys are just men-at-arms, we're able to just destroy his army. And that gained a pretty good amount of prestige and piety. And now I'm going to chase him. We're going to come down to his other lands here. And we're going to try to destroy his army there. And then his army is probably going to retreat somewhere over here. And so I can probably go over here. So I'm going to land here in 33 days. My hostilities with him only lasts for 30 days. So I probably want to go somewhere a little closer so I can maintain hostility. So once I am now hostile with him again, his army might be over here, but he also might have retreated since his army now is a little smaller than ours. So you see how that animation there, that means that he disbanded his troops because our army was too far from him. So he was able to run away. So we do want to try to chase him down back and forth as quickly as we can, which is why I like the movement speed from this education, but also in the organized march, that's why I'm going for the movement speed. That way I can chase down those armies and destroy them before they disband. So I wouldn't raid the rest of the Pope here because every time you do raid a holding, there's a 5-year cooldown, meaning that if I raid everything here, then I won't be able to raid him again. And his troops only take maybe a few months to replenish. So the strategy to farm him for prestige is to just raid just enough so that you're hostile, and then you just keep fighting his armies, and then you can go use that prestige to bolster your troops and also go conquer elsewhere. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually come back to Pisa and I'm going to increase my troop size. Let me max out this armored footman. I'll also max out this mangonel. And before I forget, I'm going to host this grand wedding. We're going to host it in my capital. For the options, the third option here, if we increase it, we can actually get some more renown, and this will actually increase the cost by a lot. The second one will have just opinion, and since I don't really have any vassals, I can save some money here, so I'm just going to do this. If I can seduce my spouse, then I will try to. So here's my betrothed. I'm going to try to seduce her, and I'll just focus on this grand wedding. That also gives a chance for my troops to replenish. That did give me some renown for all these events, so I'm able to use that early renown and go for a dynasty perk early. So I can go for noble veins since I love genetics, and so before I even have a kid, I already have this perk unlocked, which is really nice. And now I can say I do to marry her and gain even more renown. And then the finisher of the events, we do gain a lot of prestige, some legitimacy, a small refund, and this nice modifier for a few years. So we're going to take that prestige and we're going to increase the men-at-arms if we need to. I actually have max stacks of 2 armored footmen, so I'm actually going to replace one of these pikemen with another stack of armored footmen. And we also actually have enough renown to get the second dynasty perk. That was pretty lucky. We usually only get just enough for the first perk, but this time we got enough for 2 perks. The Pope's troops are replenished, so I'm going to first farm him and then I'm going to start conquering some of the lands that we need. It looks a little dark though, so if I just use either Control E or click this icon here, you can see there's actually a pox here, and I don't want to contract a disease, so I actually won't pick myself. I'll just pick my vassal, and then we'll just raid as normal, just not with me. So my daughter's born. She did get the trait, so that's lucky. We're going to educate her ourselves. I'm going to go stewardship since I love stewardship. So we're going to start working on getting the pieces we need over here. Looks like our army is just strong enough. I'm going to actually wait for these guys to fully replenish before I try to take them on, and I might be able to also take on the papacy again in that time. All right, so our army might actually be a little too big for him. So before I do head out, let me click on this little plus sign. I'm going to split off some of the peasants and I'm going to actually disband them. That way my army looks a little smaller and hopefully he'll be willing to fight me. If I'm too big compared to him, he might not come out to fight me. So let's go for this city over here. All right, there's his army. He thinks he can beat us and we can crush him pretty handily. And because my army movement speed is pretty good, I was able to catch up to them and we were able to smash the Pope's army. So we got a lot of prestige and piety from those battles. All right, so now we should be ready with a replenished army to take on the Sultanate. So let's actually conquer the Emirate of Alexandria, and we're going to just go directly for Alexandria. So I have another martial perk. For this one, I'm going to go for Organized March. And now I have enough martial perks to move on to the next lifestyle. So I'm going to actually go for the learning lifestyle. I'm going to go for Prophet since I do plan to reform my faith in order to become the Pope. So I'm going to go for the theology focus for some piety. And our siege, you can see it's very quick because I have both the Exalted Warlord siege weapon effectiveness and also the Engineer for Destruct and siege effectiveness. It basically makes it so that my siege weapon has almost double the effectiveness. So that's why we can siege it down so quickly. Now, he does own Jerusalem, which I also need. So instead of getting a hostage, I'm actually going to just take the lands. So sometimes when you take the lands, you do get another vassal. And again, that's another person who really hates us. So I do want to get to high tribal authority as fast as I can. And now, because his religion is evil to us, we can actually revoke the title from him, and we're not considered a tyrant for doing so. So let's get rid of these vassals who are not ideal. Also, I'm going to try to revoke this guy because he's also an evil faith. All right, we won that one. So now I can revoke that title from him. And again, I don't want these courtiers who really hate me. So although he has a little gold I could ransom for, it's not going to be that much. So I'm just going to execute him. This guy here looks like he's going to capture my capital. So let's see how many months. And our army's going to get there in 6 months. So it might be a little too late. So I don't want him to win the siege. Not because it'll win the war, but because I don't want him to kill my children who are hiding here. So what I'll do is I'll actually spend some of my gold. I'm going to set my rally point here, and I'm going to raise some mercenaries. Maybe these guys. You can either try to defeat him, or if not, I could just delay. I don't mind losing this battle, but we're able to just push him off. All right, so we won that one as well. We can now revoke again, and then I'll execute him. All right, so now our realm should be pretty safe. I don't have vassals who hate us. So what I'll do is for this second son, I'll actually give him some of these titles. So now we can continue conquering. It looks like Byzantine is busy, so this might be a good time to take Byzantium. And I do want to go to war against him later again. So I'm just going to take the land. And for the Sultanate, he still has a truce. We could murder him since the truce is with him and not with his heir, but the chance is kind of low, so we won't do that. Usually for Byzantium, the murder chance is really high, so we could just do that. In the meantime, again, we're going to go and farm the Pope a little bit. Now that my men-at-arms army is pretty big, I could probably just raise men-at-arms and then hit this little torch sign. And you'll see I already have 3,400 men-at-arms. So he should still want to fight us, but he doesn't know that we are purely elite troops. So there he is. He's coming. We're going to be able to smash his army. He didn't kill him completely, so we're going to chase him again. So you can see that I have enough time to walk over, and that's because my movement is so quick. I'm actually walking faster than he will be. He's actually right under us. Alright, cool. So we smashed his army, so that was a lot of prestige and piety, so thank you. We need about 4,000 or 5,000 piety to reform our faith. So once I get that, I should be ready to take over Rome. Alright, for the Sultanates, I'm going to check my truce. I'm going to go to myself in diplomacy. So it looks like I still have 16 months truce with him. So in that time, I'm going to try to take out some of the pieces of Italia here. And you can see that usually Matilda has a successful independence war against the HRE. So unfortunately, it's going to make my conquering a little more complicated. So what I'll do now is I'm going to start getting as many territories here as possible. So let me first take Sardinia here. We're going to holy war for it to minimize the potential numbers of vassals. You can see that it doesn't really say if I will vassalize people or not, versus if I conquer Sardinia, then I'm going to have automatically at least 3 vassals. And again, these guys are not going to like us, so I want as little vassals as I can so I can appoint my own guys or give it to my children. All right. We should be able to succeed. Awesome. We did get found out though, unfortunately, so we did lose some legitimacy and we became a known murderer. So more people will dislike us, putting our life in danger. If you feel like your life is in danger, which a lot of times in this area I do feel that way because there's so many people that we conquer from and so many people who really dislike us, then sometimes you might want to go down the intrigue tree and just go for Court of Shadows to get better disrupt schemes and also prepared for anything for reduced hostile schemes. So I might do that after I get profit if I can. So we did get all the lands personally, which is ideal. So now I can create the Duchy of Sardinia. I could create this Kingdom of Sardinia, but I'll try to hold out if I can. That way I can use the reduced counties needed for a duke, which also applies to the empire title as long as I don't pass time as a king. So next I'm going to take out the Sultanate's lands. I'm going to go for Jerusalem if I can with a holy war. So here we can go for Jerusalem. Alright, so we smashed his armies and now I have the 2 pieces of land I need from him, so I don't need to fight him anymore. So let's actually get a hostage. We're going to go for the youngest person possible so that the hostage truce lasts as long as possible. So let's go for this guy. This guy doesn't like us. There's a chance that he might try to kill us because he's a blackguard, meaning he's very dishonorable. So he's very likely to start a hostile scheme. So actually to prevent him from murdering me, I'm going to try to murder him first. So the chance is not too bad, and whatever gold I do have, I'm going to actually try to pour the resources into doing this. So let's actually bribe these guys. I know it costs a lot, but our life is more important. Let's also put our spy master on supporting, and in 2 years we'll get profit, but we might die by then. So let's actually temporarily change to skullduggery, all to try to just kill him as soon as we can. We actually have his wife here. So now the chance is maxed out. Let's actually change our guy back to disrupting. So I have the lands I need from him. I also need some more lands from this guy. So let's go for the Duchy of Antioch here. Looks like our scheme is exposed. Hopefully we can recruit more people. Looks like we can't convert anyone right now. So because I know I have an enemy in him, I'm actually going to create this Kingdom of Sardinia title in case I die. That way the realm won't split too much. So you'll see that the realm can split because the Kingdom of Jerusalem is there, but at least it won't split completely. So we still have a chance. It's okay if I die because I'm tribal. I will always have access to this strong men-at-arms army, and as long as I have them, then I can still conquer whatever I need. It might just take more time. Alright, so we won that, and I do plan to go to war against them later, so I, again, won't take a hostage, but let's just get the land, and he just kind of dislikes us a little bit. He shouldn't really try to murder us. Alright, let's hope we win. We did not succeed, so that's not good. Let me also see how much piety I need without profit. So let me create a new faith. We're gonna rename it. I'm gonna scroll down here. For clerical appointment, I want temporal revocable, and then for funerary I do want sky burial since that gives a little health boost, and then this temporal will let us, if we scroll up here, since we're lay clergy already, Now I can become the head of faith. For the marriage doctrines, these are all pretty good. I technically don't need to change this since I am the head of faith, so it's always doable for myself. But then this way my family members and followers can divorce as they need. For down here, because I'm the Pope and my heirs are going to be the Pope as well, everything accepted is nice because then that way they can't be a sinner. So I'm not going to touch any of this. I also like having equal and righteous, so I'm going to leave those alone. I will, however, change these. So we're going to change this to communion. This is the key tenet for how the current Catholic Pope gets rich. So characters can seek indulgences. This means characters will come to me as the new Pope and they'll pay me gold and they'll just get some piety. The piety doesn't come from our bank. It just gets generated since we're the Pope. But this is how you can get rich quickly. I'm also going to replace this with armed pilgrimages so we can go on crusades. And divine marriage is pretty good since this makes pure-blooded a virtue, which we are. And the last one, if I can afford it, would be to change witchcraft to virtuous. But that one's pretty expensive, so we'll just see what happens in the next few years. So right now my focus is going to be trying to conquer Italia, and then after I do that, I'll take over the papacy. Matilda's huge, so let's actually start chipping away to her. So we can holy war her for a lot of Italy or some Sardinia. So we're going to go for Italy. Now we're going to destroy her army. And we got lucky and captured her, so we can end the war very quickly. And again, I don't want hostage because I probably want to attack her again later. Let's start working on these. We're going to holy war for a duchy. This guy here, we can conquer his county. Same with this guy, we can conquer his county. All right, we won that as well. Let's go for this one. Great. All right, so we won that one. Check our progress. So we still have 7 more. So I think if we just take the papacy, we should be able to get all the land we need for the empire title. Before I could start, I was interrupted by a peasant faction. All right, another intrigue perk, so Court of Shadows. So hopefully this gives enough disrupt scheme strength. So let me actually change back to the theology focus. We're going to try to go for profit, which is going to take about 2 years. All right, so we finished that one there. And finally, I can start the invasion of Romagna. Alright, so we captured him. Alright, we took over his lands over here. Now, can also usurp this kingdom title from him, so I'm going to do that. And I can create this Italia title, I just need a little more gold. So I will have to raid somewhere nearby, which is perfect because I do want to raid the Sultan. So let's ransom some people, get some more gold, create that empire title. So now, nope, I'm still missing some pieces, unfortunately. So we gotta conquer a little bit more real quick. We can go for the HRE. Let's fight against this big duchy here. All right, and we won that. This time I can take another hostage, so let's take her. So now I should be an emperor. Let's also get that profit. So now I'm ready to reform my faith. Let's create that new faith. Let's double check to make sure I have everything I want. So I could do virtuous because I have that big discount. So let's convert our new faith. What I'll do now is I'll also start a legend. I'm going to start a holy legend to hopefully convert most of my land. Let's also make Rome our capital. Actually, I should have done that before I started the legend. It's going to start over here, which we don't really want it to be there. We want it to be over here, but it's okay. If we check our decisions, you'll see we can mend the Great Schism. So what this will do is if we take a look at the religion tab, we have all these Christians here. So we have the Catholics that comprise of these lands here and also Orthodox that comprise of the lands here. But once I mend the schism, a lot of people will convert to my religion and so will the lands. So let's click that. So now the universal church has been restored. We are the penultimate form of Christianity. So now if we check the faith tab, you'll see that most of those Christian lands have converted to my religion. And sometimes if we click on the Byzantine Empire, for example, you'll see that all of the rulers inside have also converted to my faith. So now since I'm the head of this large religion and I have communion, we will shortly become rich because people will start seeking indulgences with us. So now I have effectively replaced the Pope as a new Pope. He doesn't have as many Catholics backing him as I do. So I just need to now stabilize my lands, and if I can take over the Roman Empire, I will. In order to do that, I'm going to need these lands here. One of the quick things now I can do also is, since I am the head of my faith, once per lifetime of the ruler, if I take a look at the Byzantine Empire, if I declare war, you can see I can actually subjugate this empress. So I will take that title for myself and I will vassalize everyone here. So this will be a really quick way to take all of these titles here. So now I'm going to focus on getting these missing pieces. Let's first double check to make sure people do not hate me. You can see everyone hates me a lot, so I need to give the correct titles, and I probably need to wait a little bit for this offensive war opinion to go away. So for this person, let's check. We can see we can transfer the people that should be correct. Let's check our other guys. This guy is just really unhappy with us. Let's just put him on the council. This guy also is unhappy with us. He's actually still the old religion, so we do want him to convert. The chance is not too high, but we can try. So here's another event discussing how we have mended the schism. So now I have ascended as Pope. He did convert, but he still really doesn't like us. For the extra titles, let's actually give it to some of our other children. So for this daughter, let's give her some of these titles up here. Let's also give her some of these other titles here since I don't want them. I'll also promote Roman culture inside Rome, and this way I'll have a one county culture, because Roman culture right now is dead, meaning that there is no county on the world map that has this culture. So since it will only be in Rome has a lot of development, so all of the research will be really quick. So what I'll do now is I'll stay tribal just so I can conquer. If I go feudal right now, then I won't have access to the easy conquest Casus Belli, but first I'm going to actually just wait for this offensive war opinion to go away. So in the meantime, I'm going to host some events if I can. I actually can't right now, so let me just raid a little bit. All right, let's try to raid over to Paris. Someone tried to murder me. If we double check, it wasn't a rival, but my guess is either the Sultan over here or maybe even the Pope himself. He really hates us, but thankfully our wife protected us. Now we are still alive. So once we make it back to our territory, let's actually just host a feast. This way I can lose some stress, and I will also actually go for more opinion gain. Alright, we got our first Seek Indulgence event. So if we click this, you'll see that this guy had some extra gold, and he's going to pay us 100 gold, and he's just going to gain 100 piety. We're not going to lose 100 or give it to him. He's just going to get 100 piety for giving us gold. These events are going to come in so much that eventually you're going to need a mod to start accepting this gold. But this is how you become the Pope and become rich. All right, and the feast is over. And we also gained the Eager Reveler trait, so that's cool. Let's check my vassals. So probably 11 more months and then we can start going to war again. The Pope actually wanted a crusade for Romagna, so we're going to have the two Christian faiths fighting against each other. You can see that a lot of them are still my faith. So if we check the crusade, you'll see that more people are pledged to me and less to him. And if we check the crusade, it's going to be a few months. We still have overwhelming support. Since I'm waiting, let me actually go on a pilgrimage. We're gonna go to Byzantion. All right, God protect us, but God's on our side. I can manage things from here. So he's got about 10,000 men. We have about 26,000 men. So let me put my rally point right to Rome. Probably chill here, waiting for our allies to come. It looks like someone's trying to murder me. Not surprised. So let's take a look at the chance. It's a 23% chance. It's not terribly high, but what I'll do is, since I don't have a wife right now, let me actually find the most intriguing spells. So let's sort by intrigue. Also, I do want my legitimacy still, so I will just marry the highest highborn. So this girl here, I don't mind losing the prestige, and then let's actually change her to intrigue, and now my intrigue's a lot higher, and this chance should be a little lower. Might not reflect it now. And here's more people paying us gold, so thank you for donating to your Pope. Alright, we smashed all those armies, so now we succeeded. We pushed the Pope back, and we got some prestige and some piety. So let's try to get the other pieces of the Roman Empire now. I think I don't have the offensive war opinion anymore. Let's go to war. Let's first get Genoa. We're going to conquer that duchy over here. Alright, and we captured him pretty quickly, so we can finish that war. Alright, next I'll go for Venice. Can conquer Venice. Let me check if I'll vassalize. I don't think I will, so I'll just do that. In the legend, let's check our progress. It really doesn't spread that much because this area is really not that great. So that was a mistake for not changing my capital first. So I might have to just complete this and then start a new one. So I'll just do that. I'm going to complete this one. And then I will start another holy legend, except this time when I start it, it's going to start here in Rome, which is going to be a lot easier to spread since I own more territory here. Alright, we captured that land there, so we can take Venice. Now I can go for Croatia, although unfortunately it looks like the HRE took a little piece of Croatia as well. He also has a little bit of Romagna, so unfortunately we're going to have to war against him twice. We do have a hostage, so we want to return that hostage for now so I can fight him. I'm going to go for the Duchy of Croatia, and I'll also go for, so it's only just that one piece, so we'll conquer that one piece. So we got Croatia from him. Alright, cool, we won. Alright, we have those pieces there. Now I need to get Tunis and Apulia and Sicily. Let's check for the offensive war opinion. I'm at -11, so it's not terrible yet. Alright, we won that. Alright, so we got that part of Tunis, and now let's go for Apulia and Sicily. Go for Apulia over here, we're going to go for Apulia, and I also want to go for Sicily. We can conquer Malta. Sometimes we forget to get Malta because it's a spec. Don't forget to get indulgences. Alright, we won that one. We'll go for this guy next. Yeah, we were at like 500 gold, and now we're at 2,000 for doing nothing except being the Pope. So we're going to take Sicily. Alright, we won that instantly. Great. We do still need this one piece here, so let me try to murder him. And we're pretty lucky we can get his spy master. And we control everything else we need. We just need to take over the Byzantine Empire. So let me just wait on this murder, and then we'll take that one piece, and we should be ready to take Byzantine Empire. And let me check my legend progress. It's doing pretty good. I need a new chronicler, so let's hire one, and hopefully, well, okay, we don't succeed. We'll just keep waiting. And don't forget to collect the indulgences from your followers. And we've successfully murdered the King of Sicily. All right, so now let's go for that last piece of Sicily. Alright, so we won that. So now I'm finally ready. I have all the pieces that I need. So once I grant this, now I can finally take over the Byzantine Empire. Alright, we've got the Byzantine Empire. Someone wants to take Tunis from us, but we also need that. Alright, I don't want to fight too long because I don't want the factions of Byzantine to rise up. So you can see there's a lot of factions. So let's first quickly white piece this. I should have all the pieces that I need. So let's raise up our authority. And then in this way, I can adopt the feudal ways. Since right now you can see I don't have Restore Roman Empire because actually a hidden requirement is we need to be feudal or clan. So let me adopt that. And the other requirement is if I go to the empire titles, I need to make the Byzantine Empire title my primary title. So now that that's my primary title, if I check here, you can see we have Restore the Roman Empire title here. And you can see we do have some pieces that are missing. So it looks like this guy went independent. It looks like we are still missing a little bit of Capua and also Romagna. So I do need to take those before all of these factions start forming. So for this girl, we can try to put them on the council to see if they'll be a little happier. Same thing, we're gonna put this girl here. We can actually have her develop Rome. Let's also convert a little more land. And then let's check our vassals here. We'll manage these as we go, but for now, let's finish conquering the rest. Alright, so now I need to make some moves. So for this girl here, what we can do is if we can create the Kingdom of Bulgaria, we can make it so that she gets that title. She'll like us a little bit more. If we just give her some of those vassals, she should like us a little more as well. So actually it looks like all these vassals are totally weird. Anyways, this guy is the second person, so we can get rid of him. So if I give this girl him as a vassal, he will not show up here anymore. So now the strength is down a bit. She also likes me enough that she gets off of it as well. So now there's just these people. This girl's got 20%. So I don't like to have, you know, really messy vassals. So let's make another kingdom title. We'll make Anatolia here. We'll give it to this girl. You can have Anatolia. Let's check to see, is that enough for you? She still doesn't like us that much. You can transfer someone, so she's max opinion, so she should fall off. And then there you go. They're too weak to fight me. All right, let's finish off that war. All right, we got that one county there. And second, this duchy here. All right, we got that one. And lastly, Capua here. So we won that one. Now I just got to defend Tunis again. All right, so we won that holy war. Let's get a hostage, so hopefully he will stop bothering me. And so now we can restore the Roman Empire. And so these are all claimant factions usually, and we'll see that if we check the Byzantine Empire, there's a lot of claimants. But the nice thing is if we restore the Roman Empire, we not only get the Roman Empire and also get this nice Augustus trait. We also combine the de jures of those two empires. So now the Roman Empire de jure is Byzantine plus Italia, but also the claimants have now been erased and now it's only my children and family. So now all those pesky factions should go away soon. So you see they all disappeared because they are no longer valid. So that's how in 47 years we became the Pope of the Christian world. We are getting filthy rich, and we also managed to restore the Roman Empire. And so now all I need to do is just develop up these lands, especially Rome. And thanks to Rome being a single county culture for Roman culture, if we check here, you'll see that for the innovations, there is about 0.68 progress per month. And if we check Italian, you'll see that their progress is like 0.3. So we're going to research things a lot faster than any other culture, since we only have one county that's super developed. So actually, I should have picked something else, but I was really busy conquering. So the first one that I would probably pick here would either be hoardings, or in this case, I could do heraldry to just give house seniority so that my succession is a lot more clean. Right now, I'm going to lose just one title, but these titles are going to split a lot frequently, so that might not be very convenient. But yeah, that's how you become the Pope, to become super rich, and we also managed to restore the Roman Empire. Thanks for making it this far in this video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing. It helps me tremendously, so thank you so much. You can also check out my channel for other guides or playthroughs, and leave a comment below if you have any questions or want to see a specific topic discussed. Thanks again from Bread God, and hope you have a good day.